Gen Z is entering the workforce with new perspectives and expectations.
In this podcast, we're here to listen to their stories and experiences, their successes and frustrations, and help employers understand the mindset and perspectives of the up-and-coming workforce.
Employers can't dictate what their young employees find meaningful. What they can do, however, is empower them to create their own sense of purpose and authentic connections.
Our curriculum is designed to help them do exactly that. East Valley Leader Lab is committed to paving the way for more curious, engaged, and connected young professionals in the workplace.
Hello, I'm Amanda Stradling, and this is Timm Eskew. We are East Valley Leader Lab. You're listening to our podcast, Mind and Body at Work. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, if our content resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are interested in learning more, please click on the link in the show notes to view our newest offer, Helping Gen Z Thrive at Work. All right, thank you so much. Today, we are here to talk about resilience and how embodiment is an important piece of building resilience.
Exactly. Hello, Amanda. How are you?
Good. How are you, Tim?
Doing great. So, yes, we've been talking about young professionals entering the workforce this whole season. And, entering the workforce can be a stressful time. Some might say that it's a bit of a pressure cooker time. There's going to be a lot of change. In these particular times, we're learning through the podcast that it's maybe one of the more difficult times than it's been for generations to enter the workforce with artificial intelligence and debates about, whether we need entry-level workers or not. Our answer is we certainly do. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that pressure cooker and the importance of resilience, as you said, Amanda, and in particular, and how it applies to these young workers entering the workforce. So one of the things that we believe is if you're feeling that pressure cooker, if this is feeling like a particularly stressful time, one of the secret weapons is embodied practices. If you're willing to put a little bit of practice in, it's one of the things that gives you the best chance of kind of maintaining your center, maintaining your balance while even though things are a little bit stressful.
Absolutely. It's very natural for our bodies to respond to stressful stimuli with a very embodied response. And since we're feeling that stress in our body is our greatest tool for releasing that stress.
Yep.
And if we are not releasing that muscle tension, that mental tension, that kind of heightened nervous system alert is going to stay activated. And when it does that, then the next stressful situation is even worse.
Exactly.
And it creates this downward spiral away from balance, away from resilience.
Exactly. But on the other hand, right, if you have an embodied practice, and the key to an embodied practice is to have it in your body so that when you need it, when things start getting a little bit more stressful, you have the capacity, you have the tools within yourself to bring yourself back into balance. And so it's not about being in an environment where nothing stressful ever happens. It's not about being centered 100% of the time. It's about having the capacity in your body to get back to balance, get back to center when you need it.
Good. Yes, we're all human. We all live in the real world. Stuff is going to push and pull us, and that's natural. Totally normal. But yeah, those practices, that's what helps that pendulum kind of swing back and helps us find our center again. Before we go into some tips and practices that people can use, I think it might be a good time now to talk about some stories of how we've used embodied practices to combat stress.
Sure. Do you want to do yours first?
Sure.
Okay.
One of the highest points of stress, I think, in my life was while my two children were young, and they were both quite colicky. And, when you're a new family, your financial stresses are higher.
Sure.
There was a lot going on from my own body recovering from having 2 kids. And just all day long, one of them was crying. And when you're just always getting that kind of input, your stress level just stays up here. And
Yes, I remember that.
yeah, it doesn't really
As a father,
ever have the chance to come back down. But luckily, I had done a lot of training in Tai Chi and other embodied practices before I ever became a parent. And so I knew what practice I needed. And I had Tai Chi became not just a few times a week thing that I did, it became every day, every night. It became a very important part of my ritual, my returning back to my body, my regulating my nervous system. And also at that time, I really incorporated a lot of running. I found that that was something that my body really craved and needed. Just the outside in nature, the rhythm of it, the repetition. It just really cleared my mind. It helped burn off a lot of frustration.
That's what I was going to say. It's really great with your energy, right? If you've got nervous energy, you can kind of get rid of it through something like that.
Yeah, it's all about what your body needs. If you're swinging too far this way, you need something that pulls you back this way.
Right.
Like a yin and yang, all about
exactly.
that balance.
Yep. Yeah. When I was thinking about when I, most needed to be resilient, what came up for me is a situation that most of us, I think, can relate to. It wasn't that long ago, right, that we had the COVID epidemic. And, it was such a huge change in people's life. It took away most of our social life. Which, by the way, was harder on my wife than it was on me. I can go pretty long periods just being by myself or being in the family circle, but my wife was really suffering with that, and her solution was to find a puppy, and that's how we got our COVID dog. But for me, we had probably started our the Leader Lab a year and a half before COVID started. And, there's classes that you're aware of that we are both in, that we teach just regular Tai Chi to people. And just knowing that I had those classes, and then doing my own individual practice on a daily basis, really helped me stay on more of an even keel throughout that process.
Absolutely.
There were stressful times. There were things I missed, but I found that just having that practice helped me. And what I noticed maybe even more was we had a neighborhood class at the time of Tai Chi, and people really appreciated that we could get we stopped for a couple of months, and then we were really careful. We always did it outside, and we kept space between people, and we wore masks for a while. But you just saw people kind of coming back to life the more weeks that we did the Tai Chi. So to me, that's a great example of resiliency in action.
I love that not only did your practice include the body, but it also included human connection.
Exactly.
I think that's such a wonderful practice. Something that I loved about my daily practice, it was part of my nap time routine, the schedule I had with my kids during that time, is it helped me regulate myself enough between the heightened stress moments that I got to see what a beautiful time that was, as well as difficult time.
Right.
I think without resilience, we miss out on a lot of the wonderful parts of our lives if we're always shifted into that overwhelmed state.
Yep. Yeah, there was some quietness. There was kind of a break from some of the constant noise of life throughout COVID. There were really some good things that came out of it that were hard to see if you were stressed out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. So, the thing about embodied practices is we talk about a lot of things you can do in specific areas, and you're going to give some quick tips. But the thing to keep in mind is not so much the importance of knowing what to do in a specific situation, but having a practice that you're already doing that you can tap into with these quick tips.
Yes. We differentiate that in one of our well-being courses. We have rescue responses versus daily practices.
Yes.
The rescue responses can help you in a pinch, but what you really need is that daily practice.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to apply it too, but without the daily practice, it's going to be difficult for you to both create the awareness that you need something in that moment and then have the capacity to bring it out in your body.
Yeah. Well, shall we share some quick tips?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the important thing to do is, no matter how busy and loud your day is, you need to carve out a little bit of time that is quiet and peaceful for yourself, where you're not distracted. And then I always like to use this time first, just like maybe a couple minutes, do a Tai Chi or Qigong move, something to get into my body. And then once I'm in my body, I'm already a little calmer. I can ask myself some curious and compassionate questions about my day with no judgments. And then I just sit and I notice what feelings are coming up. And I notice what bodily sensations are associated with those feelings. Our body is always communicating with us. So just take a minute and listen. And then see what I can name. Just name the feelings, name the sensations. And then everything is a chance to learn. Every sensation, it's teaching you something. And just take that lesson. You don't have to be in action about it immediately, but it's prodding you to something. So just pay attention and then see if you're ready to release the emotion with gratitude. And remember that all the things in life are temporary and everything is a chance to grow. My Tai Chi teacher used to always say, let it be like weather in the sky, let it blow through you. So I tell myself that a lot. Let it blow through me.
That's great, Amanda. So, if you're feeling that pressure cooker coming on, think about resilience. Think about the quick tips that Amanda has just gone over, and also think about how you can be in a practice on a regular basis. And if you're looking for help with that, that's part of the services we offer at Leader Lab. Check out our website and learn more about that. Anything else before we sign off?
We always have a course our first course that's about to start enrollment. So reach out, give us your email, let's get in contact, and let's see if you're a fit for our upcoming course.
Exactly. And be well and keep moving.
This has been Mind and Body at Work with the East Valley Leader Lab. Please click on the link in the show notes for a description of our newest offer, Helping Gen Z Thrive at Work. This is our embodiment training to help new young workers integrate into your organization.
As always, if this content resonates with you and your cares, please like, share, and/or subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Be well and keep moving.